woman. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is not common knowledge. It is not casual advice. And it is not something the world wants you to hear. There is a forbidden truth about you. And if you ever come to understand it, nothing and no one will ever be able to deceive you again. The truth is this: you were created with the ability to see through illusions, to sense the unseen, to uncover what is hidden behind words, actions, and appearances. You may not always trust it, but you have always felt it. The reason so many of you wrestle in silence is because you have ignored this inner radar. You've silenced your intuition in the name of love, in the name of loyalty, in the name of acceptance. Yet the moment you detach emotionally, the fog clears and suddenly the illusion loses its power over you. What once manipulated you becomes exposed, and what once blinded you is revealed for what it truly is. A woman who detaches emotionally is not a woman without feeling. She is a woman who refuses to let her feelings govern her reality. That is strength. That is wisdom. You see, the enemy of your soul wants you entangled in emotional chaos, because when you are consumed by emotion, you stop seeing clearly. But when you choose stillness, when you choose detachment, when you choose clarity, illusions tremble in your presence. And let me tell you why society resists this truth about you. Because when you see through illusions, you become uncontrollable. You cannot be manipulated by charm. You cannot be bought with gifts. You cannot be swayed by titles or positions. You look past the glitter and discern the gold. You see beyond words and measure the spirit behind them. And that makes you dangerous to everything that is false. The forbidden truth is this: your vision exposes pretenders. And the moment you live detached from the need for validation, you walk in a power the world does not understand. You no longer chase what is shiny. You are drawn only to what is real. You no longer cling to what is temporary, because you recognize eternity. This is why your spirit is restless in environments that feel false. You were never designed to settle in illusions. When you combine discernment with detachment, you become a fortress. You are not swayed by flattery. You are not shaken by rejection. You are not controlled by fear. You are led by purpose. You stand in confidence because you know that what is true will remain and what is false must collapse. This is why you cannot be easily deceived, because deep inside you were wired for truth. Woman, hear me. The strength of your spirit is not in how much you can endure illusions, but in how quickly you can recognize and detach from them. Your clarity is your weapon. Your discernment is your shield. Your detachment is your victory. And this is the forbidden truth the world doesn't want you to discover. You were born to see through the illusion. Your spirit was designed for discernment. This is not something you learn through experience alone. It is a gift embedded into your very being. From the beginning, when God fashioned you, He gave you an extra sensitivity to see beyond what the natural eye perceives. That is why you can walk into a room and feel when something is wrong, even when nothing has been said. That is why you can listen to someone's words, and though they sound convincing, something inside of you whispers, "This is not the truth." This ability is not weakness. It is divine intelligence. It is heaven's way of equipping you to protect life, to guard destiny, and to preserve the things that matter most. Discernment is not suspicion. Suspicion is birthed from fear, but discernment is birthed from the Spirit. Discernment doesn't accuse, it perceives. It reads beyond appearances. It identifies motives wrapped in charm and intentions dressed in politeness. Many times you have doubted yourself because others convinced you that you were imagining things. Yet later you discovered that what you felt was accurate all along. This is the evidence that your inner radar is real. You must understand that discernment is not designed to make you arrogant, but to make you wise. It is there to keep you safe from counterfeit love, deceptive opportunities, and destructive environments. When a woman trusts her discernment, she is not easily swayed by flattery, nor is she blinded by appearances. She learns to wait, to observe, to listen, not only to what is being said, but also to what is not being said. Your spirit was crafted with this sensitivity so you could distinguish between truth and illusion. It is a weapon heaven placed within you, a compass pointing you toward what is authentic, what is safe, and what is aligned with your purpose. Illusions cannot survive in the presence of truth. The very nature of an illusion is to mask what is real, to dress emptiness in appearance, to present shadows as substance. But truth has a way of burning away the fog, stripping off the disguise and revealing what lies beneath. A woman carries within her the capacity to recognize this difference because her soul is connected to life itself. She was created to nurture, to protect, to carry destiny, and because of this, she cannot fully embrace what is false. Her spirit instinctively gravitates toward what is authentic, even when her mind tries to rationalize what she sees or feels. This is why so many times you find yourself uneasy in relationships, conversations, or environments that look perfect on the outside but carry a hidden emptiness within. Your spirit resists illusions, not because you are difficult or suspicious, but because truth cannot coexist with what is false. A seed of life cannot take root in artificial soil. You were made to respond to reality, not pretense. The illusion may appear attractive for a time, but eventually the weight of truth presses against it, and you begin to see cracks in the surface. Lies cannot stand before discernment. Pretense cannot last in the presence of authenticity. What is false begins to reveal itself as you stay still, observe, and allow truth to rise. That is why your spirit is unsettled when people speak one way but live another, when actions and words do not align, when the outer performance does not match the inner substance. Illusions are fragile. They depend on your agreement to survive. But when you choose truth, when you detach from the need to believe appearances, the illusion collapses and reality stands unshaken. Emotional detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. To detach emotionally does not mean you stop caring, it means you stop allowing your emotions to control the way you see reality. Many women have been told that to love deeply means to surrender all judgment, to ignore their intuition, and to accept everything without question. But when you live only through emotion, you often confuse intensity with truth and passion with purpose. Detachment is the discipline of stepping back, clearing the fog, and choosing to see a situation without the distortion of uncontrolled feelings. When a woman learns the power of detachment, she is no longer manipulated by words alone. She no longer confuses charm for character or attention for love. Detachment gives her the ability to observe what is truly happening without drowning in the pull of emotions. It gives her permission to pause, to breathe, and to make decisions from a place of strength rather than desperation. This is not about becoming hard or unfeeling. It is about becoming wise. The world may call you distant, but what you really are is discerning. Detachment allows you to hear not just what is being said, but also what is being hidden. It allows you to see patterns, to notice inconsistencies, to recognize truth without being blinded by temporary feelings. Emotional detachment is the foundation of inner stability. When you are detached, you do not react, you respond. You do not chase, you choose. You do not crumble when others withdraw because your identity is not tied to their approval. Instead, you remain steady, confident, and anchored. That kind of clarity is power, and that power keeps you from being deceived by illusion. The forbidden truth is that your perception threatens illusions. This is why the world has always tried to silence a woman's voice, to dim her intuition, to make her question what she feels so deeply inside. Because when you truly see, you disrupt deception. You expose what is false without even trying. Your very presence makes pretenders uncomfortable. Because you are able to sense the motive behind their actions, the intent behind their words, and the spirit behind their smiles. Illusion depends on ignorance to survive. And your perception refuses to grant it that comfort. That comfort. When you walk in discernment, you don't need to confront everyone directly. Your very clarity is confrontation. People who live in masks begin to feel restless around you because your spirit sees past the surface. That is why society has tried to redefine you as overly emotional, overly suspicious, or overly sensitive. The strategy is simple. If they can make you doubt your perception, the illusion survives. But when you trust your inner radar, illusions tremble. Deception is dangerous to deception because it shines light in hidden places. The moment you acknowledge what you see and detach from the pressure to ignore it, the illusion loses power. You start to notice contradictions in speech, insincerity in kindness, manipulation disguised as care. You begin to identify what others overlook, and in doing so, you dismantle the systems that thrive on appearances. This is the forbidden truth. Your perception is not weakness. It is warfare. It is the reason illusions collapse when you stop yielding your power to them. You were created to expose falsehood, not to live under it. And when you embrace that gift, illusions cannot last in your presence. Your ability to see through illusions is a mark of strength, not rebellion. Too often when a woman speaks up about what she senses, she is labeled as difficult, argumentative, or resistant. But the truth is, your discernment unsettles people who benefit from deception. They want you quiet because your clarity exposes what they are trying to hide. You are not rebellious for recognizing when something is wrong. You are strong. You are not defiant for refusing to accept lies. You are courageous. Your ability to perceive beyond the surface is proof that you carry the spirit of truth within you. Strength is not measured by how much you can endure falsehood, but by your refusal to be shaped by it. To see through illusions requires courage, because it often means standing alone, questioning what everyone else accepts, and resisting the pressure to conform. Illusion thrives in collective agreement, but strength is the power to break agreement when what is presented does not align with what is real. That is not rebellion, it is righteousness. This is why you feel different when you refuse to settle for appearances. You may feel isolated, but in reality, you are operating at a higher level of clarity. The strength in you refuses to be seduced by words that lack substance or gestures that lack sincerity. This is why manipulation struggles to hold you. Your spirit cannot be bound by lies. Seeing through illusions is not about pride, it is about freedom. It is the ability to remain unshaken when others are blinded, to stand firm when others are swayed, to hold fast to what is true even when falsehood is celebrated. That kind of strength is rare, and it is the evidence that you were never meant to live under deception. The confidence is born when detachment and discernment work together. Detachment keeps you from being ruled by emotion, and discernment keeps you from being deceived by appearances. When these two forces operate in harmony, a woman becomes unshakable. She no longer questions her worth because her identity is not tied to how others treat her. She no longer doubts her decisions because she can see through manipulation and false promises. Confidence is not arrogance. It is the calm assurance that comes from knowing you are guided by truth, not by illusion. When you are detached, you are not desperate for approval. When you are discerning, you are not blinded by charm. Together, they form the foundation of confidence that cannot be stolen. A woman who is detached from people's opinions and discerning of their motives cannot be easily swayed. She listens, she observes, but she chooses only what aligns with her purpose. This is where true confidence is born, when you realize you no longer have to cling to what is unstable because you can recognize stability for yourself. Many women lose confidence because they attach themselves emotionally to what looks good but is not real. They believe the illusion, and when it collapses, they feel broken. But when detachment allows you to step back and discernment allows you to see clearly, you are no longer shaken when the falls crumbles. You already knew it was fragile. You already sensed it would not last. And so you remain steady while others are shaken. This kind of confidence makes you bold. You walk differently, you speak differently. You carry yourself with authority, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you know illusions cannot control you anymore. That assurance itself becomes your strength. Purpose reveals the illusion of distraction. When a woman discovers her God-given purpose, her vision sharpens and her priorities align. Suddenly, what once fascinated her loses its appeal. The compliments that once swayed her, the opportunities that once seemed irresistible, the relationships that once consumed her, all of them become smaller in the light of purpose. Purpose acts like a lens that strips away the glitter from distractions and reveals whether they carry true value or are simply illusions designed to waste her time and drain her energy. Distractions are dangerous because they often come dressed as blessings. They look like opportunities, but they are really detours. They look like relationships, but they are really traps. Without purpose, a woman may confuse these illusions for destiny, but when she understands who she is and why she was created, she measures everything against that standard. She asks, does this align with my calling, or does it pull me away from it? Does this strengthen my identity, or does it weaken it? Purpose gives her the courage to say no, even when everyone else is saying yes. A woman aligned with purpose is not seduced by appearances. She is not moved by flattery because she knows her worth. She is not distracted by wealth because she understands true riches are measured in destiny, not possessions. She is not deceived by charm because she values character over performance. Purpose is the anchor that keeps her steady when the winds of illusion blow. When you live with purpose, you see through distraction instantly. You are not easily impressed because you are guided by vision. You are not easily deceived because you recognize what truly matters. Purpose strips the power of illusion, leaving only what is real and enduring. Woman, you are not created to stumble in confusion, nor to be enslaved by illusions. You were designed with discernment to see truth, with detachment to walk in clarity, and with purpose to rise above every distraction. When you embrace this divine design, you cannot be manipulated, you cannot be deceived, and you cannot be diminished. The world may try to silence your perception, but you were born to expose what is false and protect what is real. Stand in your strength, trust your inner radar, and walk with the authority of purpose. Because when you see through the illusion, you reclaim your power, and nothing in this world can stop a woman who knows the truth.